Welcome to FIU Football Weekly for Week 5. Pete Pelegrin along with Coach Ron Cooper. And Coach, this is back in the house now after a 33-31 win in the Shula Bowl over Florida Atlantic last week. And your thoughts on that game?
Well, the guys played hard. We're definitely pleased with them, proud of them. And, we had some adversity come in earlier in the week, but the guys overcame it and worked hard and did everything we asked and played a great football game.
What was your message to those guys, to the team early in the week, knowing there was a coaching change and everything?
Well, we just said it's a new season. We're 0-0 right now, hadn't played a game. We're opening up conference play. Let's worry about the things that we can control, and that was taking it day by day, game plan, practice, and making sure that the guys understood, and let's go out and play as hard as we could on Saturday.
You guys had 270 rushing yards on Saturday. I almost said Friday. We've had so many weekday games, you can lose track of the week. But it's the fifth most in FIU history, 270 yards. Of course, the most since 2010 when FIU had a program record, 448 rushing yards. What worked in last Saturday?
Well, we did a lot of work during the week, good on good, to where our one offense played against the one defense. We felt like we had two running backs that could run the football, and we felt like our tight end offensive line were capable of blocking the run. So a lot of times if you get a hat on a hat up front and you got two good backs, a tie wins, and those guys broke tackles. The ball security was good. Our offensive line, I thought, played outstanding. Our tight ends and O-line, those guys blocked, gave great effort, and it was totally a team effort. We blocked well on the perimeter. The wideouts were unselfish. They came in, they cracked the safeties, they stayed on the corners, and it all worked together.
And those two backs you mentioned, Alex Gardner, 119 yards rushing. He was named the Shula Bowl MVP for FIU. And Anthony Jones with 90. If he would have gotten 10 more, would have had 200-yard backs, which really would have been only the second time in this program's 15-year history that he would have had two running backs with more than 100 yards in the same game.
Well, we're going to keep running it.
Yeah.
You can't just be one-dimensional. We're going to run it and throw it. But when you got two guys like that, we're going to continue to put them in the backfield at the same time and be able to throw it and run it. And that opens up certain things on offense that we can do and do a little bit better. So we're going to continue getting better and make tweaks to the game plan and basically stay simple. But to win football games nowadays, you have to score points, and you got to be able to run the ball at the same time. You can't be one-dimensional and just throw it over the field.
You went back to Alex Magoo as the starter for last game. What was the thought process in that?
Well, Alex has started a lot of football games here at FIU, and for us to be as good as we are, he has to play, and again, continue to keep bringing Maurice along. Wanted to get in the game, didn't get the right situation, but Alex played well. The thing we told him, and as a defensive back coach for most of my assistant coaching career, DBs are going to get beat, bad things are going to happen. You got to have amnesia, you got to be able to forget. And we told Alex, things are going to happen that aren't good. And when he threw the interception, when they went up 24-14, we said, hey, go get it back. And he took our offense right back down the field and we scored.
What did it say about these guys? Well, finish up with Alex first. Who knew he could run for 35 yards like that for a touchdown? Was that just the way the play happened, or was it a design run for him?
Well, it was a zone read play to where he reads the end man on the line of scrimmage. If the end squeezes down, he pulls it and runs it. If he stays up, he hands it to our running back. So we'd worked at it. It's nothing new. I think they went into the game saying on that short yardage play we were going to give it no matter what, and Alex read it, and Shank called a read, and he read it and made it happen.
The guys respond to adversity last Saturday, down twice in that game to rally, whereas before maybe, who knows how it shakes out.
Yeah, we asked our football team to get into the game. We asked the guys on the sideline not to just stand up there, but to become cheerleaders, to be enthused about the game. And it was a total team effort, not just the guys on the field, but the scout teamers who prepared us during the week. They had a vested interest, and it's a little easier to where when you got all 90 dressed out that are out there cheering and pulling for one another, it makes you play a little bit harder. And I don't know if the thought of us not winning that game ever crossed their mind.
That's good. Turning to the other side of the ball, they had 236 yards rushing. It's now 4 of the first 5 games where a team has run for over 200 yards against the defense. What do you guys need to do to change that? Because you got a pretty good running back facing this Saturday.
Yeah, we've got to stop the run. We got to do a better job of getting off blocks. We got to eliminate the big play. We had a 68-yard run, and then we had a quarterback scramble, for probably 60 more yards. So if you take off that 120 yards, we've had a pretty good game. So it's been a big play thing, and at the same time, on those second down passes, we've got to stay in our pass rush lanes. If the quarterback steps up, we've got to be able to get him down, but not let him break through. And I think he came out of it for 2 different first downs at a time. So one of our long runs, of course, was a 68-yard run early in the game. The other 2 were both quarterback scrambles for 17 yards, and it just can't happen.
Well, I mentioned that running back coming up Saturday at UTEP in El Paso, Aaron Jones, was averaging about 132 yards per game. What have you seen from the Miners thus far?
They're big up front. They can block. They've got a great running back. They got a great system. Their head coach was the offensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a lot of years. So they're built to run the football. They're built to block the run. They understand blocking the run. So we got to do everything we can to make sure that we contain them up front, but it's got to be a gang tackle effort to where we can't just wait on one guy to get him down. We got to all get to the ball.
Series with the Miners tied at 1. You guys beat them 52-12 last year here. In 2013, FIU went up to El Paso for the first time, lost 33-10. And this is now 3 years ago, but back then I asked Coach Turner, you're playing in high altitude. How do you guys prepare for that, where this team doesn't really play in high altitude?
Well, we're not going to talk to them about it at all.
Okay. We won't show that.
No, you can show it, but we're not going to talk to them about it at all. And, I'm just, we've got a long flight. So, probably for every hour and a half you're in the air, you get a little bit dehydrated. So we're going to make sure there's plenty of Gatorade for the guys to drink to where us being in shape. We practice here. It is an altitude difference. I don't know if our players really understand it. We're not going to talk to them about it at all. And but we're going to have to rotate and play some guys and play a group of guys. It's not going to just take 11 on defense. It's going to take 22 on defense.
That's Coach Ron Cooper. Panthers take on the UTEP Miners, 8 o'clock from the Sun Bowl on Saturday. We'll step aside for a moment and come back with safety Niko Gonzalez.
Sportsmanship is an important tradition for Conference USA members.
It means being a role model for the next generation.
Giving it everything you got.
But always respecting your competition.
Supporting your teammates, no matter what the situation is.
And representing your school and team with grace and dignity in the classroom, on the field,
in the community,
and wherever life takes you. Show your CUSA pride all day through good sportsmanship.
Welcome back to FIU Football Weekly. Our guest this week, Niko Gonzalez, FIU safety. And Niko, you got this back in the house as we were talking with Coach Ron Cooper before you came on. Pretty good game. You guys had to come back twice in that game. Just talk a little bit about the Shula Bowl.
Well, for one, it was very exciting. Obviously these rivalry games are very fun, and there's a lot that goes into it. But one thing that was different this game is that our team had a lot of energy, and that's something that our team kind of was missing, I guess you could say, especially from the sideline. But as we performed, we gave up the lead a couple times and fought our way back. So proud of my guys, proud of my coaches.
What was this week leading up to the Shula Bowl like for the team? Coach Ron Turner was dismissed, and then Coach Ron Cooper was named the interim coach. A little bit of a transition period there. What was it like preparing for this game?
I wouldn't say it was any different in terms of preparation on the field, but I guess you could just say it was a different mindset, having a different head coach. And just there were obviously tweaks in practice that, us as players enjoyed, so that helped us out.
What were some of those tweaks?
Obviously, there was some of the Oklahoma drills,
Right.
Guys get really hyped for that, just hitting one-on-one, so it's pretty fun.
As far as the secondary play against the Owls, what did you think of that? You had 7 tackles, and as far overall as a secondary?
As a secondary, I think we did well. They didn't try us too much, which I don't know what their reason for that is, but as a secondary as a whole, I think we did pretty well.
Well, maybe because they had 236 yards rushing. That's the 4th time in 5 games you guys have given up more than 200. What do you think needs to be done to fix that number?
I feel like that's completely on us. It's obviously not on what other teams are doing. It's just on us reading our keys and just doing our job.
And I ask that because the next opponent, UTEP, has probably one of the best running backs in Conference USA, and Aaron Jones averages 132 yards a game. Their head coach, Sean Kugler, is a former offensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got a huge offensive line. How do you guys prepare for that?
Just as any other game you would, It doesn't matter, the way I look at it doesn't matter the size. It matters your heart and how much you want it. So we're going to prepare for it like any other game and hopefully come out with this win.
Jones didn't play in last year's game here that FIU won 52-12, but the offensive line was there. Can you guys take anything from that game against UTEP last year?
Obviously, we can go back, look at the film, and see kind of where they were and what they did, But, like I said, we're going to prepare for it like any other game coming up.
Now, stepping off the field, you play a game that's unique, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before, and none of your teammates played either. It's called, I guess, Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
One coach described it as, instead of Game of Thrones, Game of Nerds.
Yeah.
Explain that. I mean, I've never even heard of this game.
I mean, it's really just a card game. I guess you could consider it kind of like an upgraded version of Pokemon. So I mean, it is kind of nerdish, I won't lie, but at this point, I don't have much time to play it, but probably when the off season comes, I'll get back into it and see, but I guess I'm a nerd. So
how many of your teammates play this? Are you the only guy? Is anybody interested in playing?
I mean, to be honest, I've actually tried to get some guys to play with me because, to be honest, I don't have anyone to play with, but they all said it was boring and, they didn't want to play. I guess they don't have the stamina for it.
Now, I mean, people that watch this, like myself, I mean, without getting too technical where you're going to put us to sleep here, just give us a basic idea how you play this game.
I mean, it's just like any other card game that has, creatures and whatnot and spells, I guess you could say. And it's you versus an opponent, and you basically just take their life total from 20 to 0.
Okay, simple enough.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's strange that none of your teammates play this because, for example, Anthony Went plays chess, and he has Fred Russ, who's challenging him all the time. Whereas, I mean, when's the last time you had a football team that had chess players?
Yeah, I know. We got some smart guys, so chess seems to be it.
That'll do it for FIU Football Weekly. We'll be back next week to take a look at the FIU UTEP game and look forward to when the Panthers take on the Charlotte 49ers.